What is business hoping for? That's the question. A lot of business leaders here. To answer that, we have the Vice Chairman of Deutsche Bank with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Caio, Koch-Weser. Sir, what are you listing for here?
Well, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to be here. Obviously, we are going now into the decisive week. Not surprisingly, there are still a number of very tricky open issues. I would mention that the commitments of the developed countries is not adding up to the 25 or 40% of emissions reductions.
Yep.
The developing countries are reluctant to subject their nationally appropriate mitigation actions or low carbon growth plans to MRV, to verification.
Yep.
There's a huge issue on finance. We need about 65 billion annually between now and 2020 on average to finance the incremental cost to developing countries. And of course, the nature of the agreement itself is still in dispute. We need a strong political agreement. But I would call it really a round that we have, where there will be further action next year if leaders come out with a strong political agreement.
We only have about a minute and a half, so let me switch gears real quickly here and ask you, we have a cap-and-trade system in Europe in place. There's talk about making that into a worldwide system. Is that the way to affect these emissions changes, these emissions cuts?
In the end, the most important thing also for us in the private sector is a carbon price and is a carbon market.
Yeah.
The present carbon markets that we have in Europe and the UN system are good experience, but need to be scaled up, need to be professionalized.
You're one of the biggest players in the
We are a major player in the European carbon market,
of it.
and we clearly have ideas on how you professionalize, how you scale up these markets. You need a marketing board, you need a regulator. You have to run it like central banks run foreign exchange markets.
You had a note pretty recently that you're concerned about the very future of these allowances.
Yeah, and the problem is we don't have certainty beyond 2012. For these markets and the frameworks to work, you need transparency, you need long-term predictability, and you need, obviously, credibility of these schemes. We don't have that beyond 2012.
In 10 seconds, how can you get the massive amount of private money necessary to make all of this work onto the table?
Well, one thing is carbon markets, obviously. It leads to big transfers of money, private to private. But I also would argue that we need public money that then leverages up 1 to 5, 1 to 10 times private monies for financing a whole pipeline of renewable projects in the developing world.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much. That was Caio, Koch-Weser, Vice Chairman, Deutsche